Welcome to our session, folks. Let's jump right into NIP Group's recent move, expanding their Bitcoin mining capacity.
Absolutely. It's quite the leap in computing power. So they're boosting to 11.3 exahashes per second, right?
Exactly. And that's a big jump considering their previous acquisition in September 2025 only gave them 3.11 exahash per second.
Mm-hmm. So now they're expecting around 160 bitcoins produced monthly compared to the old 60 bitcoins? That's over a 120% increase?
Right, yeah, but of course, that estimate does hinge on prevailing network conditions. It's like the system might throw you a curveball sometimes, you know?
Definitely. And then the infrastructure they acquired is coming from multiple sources, isn't it? Apex Cyber Capital Limited, Prosperity Oak Holdings Limited, and Novo Jumpstar Limited.
Yes, indeed. In total, that's about 8.19 exahashes per second added from those acquisitions. And
Right?
they're financing this by issuing up to 314.5 million Class A ordinary shares.
Issuing shares to fund mining expansion. Interesting strategy. It kind of shows how intertwined corporate and tech strategies are becoming, huh?
Exactly. It's a bold melding of finance with high-tech drive, and they're planning to complete this latest transaction by December 15th, 2025, which is pretty soon in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, it sounds like they're setting up for not just immediate mining gain, but future high performance computing and AI initiatives too. Isn't that right?
Absolutely. They've already established a dedicated division to manage these operations. It's like they're turning their mining power into a multi-tool. On one side, it's mining. On the other, it's paving the way for AI breakthroughs.
Interesting how blockchain and AI can go hand in hand there. So, do you think this strategic move will tip the scales in the crypto mining market?
It's possible. It's like if someone piled on their hammer and nails, they could build something solid and innovative. The added capacity might not only boost their Bitcoin production, but also fuel ventures into high-performance computing.
That's a neat way to put it. Yet, I wonder if issuing so many shares could dilute the value for current investors. What do you think about that risk?
That's a fair point. The dilution risk is real, but if the operational output and future growth in AI and computing hold up, those shares could pay off over time.
Yeah,
It's a calculated risk.
right. Calculated risks have always driven technological leaps. What about their corporate evolution? Merging ninjas in pajamas with ESV5 seems like an unusual pairing.
It's definitely interesting. That merger back in 2023 set the stage for a diverse portfolio. The esports heritage from ninjas in pajamas paired with technology finesse from ESV5 gives NIP Group a unique brand edge.
And with them going public on the NASDAQ in July 2024, it kind of added an extra layer, didn't it? Opening them up to a broader market.
Exactly. Now they can leverage global capital more effectively. And let's not forget, they've also got partnerships beyond tech, a multi-year deal with the Abu Dhabi Investment Office, and even esports-themed hotels with BTG Homins in Asia.
Esports-themed hotels. That's such a cool cross-industry twist. But wouldn't you say this rapid expansion might stretch their operational focus too thin?
It's a valid concern. Balancing high-performance mining with hospitality and tech infrastructure can be challenging. But they already established a dedicated division to focus on these new operations, which should help keep priorities straight.
Fair enough. So it's like they're compartmentalizing their strategies to manage risk while expanding on several fronts simultaneously.
Exactly. It's a bit like having different teams working in concert. One focused on mining, one on AI, another on hospitality innovations. The challenge is ensuring all of them keep harmony.
Yeah, but speaking of harmony, it's interesting that despite these diverse ventures, the core remains heavily anchored in mining and blockchain, right?
Definitely. The core business seems to be the robust expansion of their mining power, which forms the financial bedrock for these ambitious projects.
Right?
It's a multi-pronged approach for growth.
And now with a target of 160 bitcoins monthly, that's a serious upgrade. But, given Bitcoin's notorious volatility, don't you think that target might fluctuate significantly?
Oh, absolutely. The production figures are subject to prevailing Bitcoin network conditions, so there's some uncertainty. It's like planning a picnic when you're not quite sure if it will rain.
Hmm, that makes sense. Plenty of variability in that ecosystem. Let's discuss the financing aspect a bit more. Issuing up to 314.5 million shares, is that seen as more of a long-term investment? Or are investors expected to see short-term benefits as well?
Well, it's balancing act, right? The infusion of shares indicates a long-term growth plan, especially with the future high-performance computing and AI projects. It's like planting seeds for a much larger tree down the road.
Mm-hmm. So it's definitely a strategic, forward-looking move rather than a quick win. And what about those partnerships with companies like Abu Dhabi Investment Office? How do they feed into this overall strategy?
They play a huge role. The capital infusion from that partnership, specifically the $40 million contingent on performance milestones, provides the liquidity needed to support the infrastructure expansion while also lending global credibility.
Right, that international backing really cements their standing. But I wonder, could their diverse portfolio stretch their management too thin, especially with ventures in both esports and high performance tech?
That's definitely a concern to keep an eye on. Managing such diverse interests requires strong organizational efficiency. But by creating dedicated divisions for mining, AI, and even technology infrastructure projects, they seem to be aware of that challenge and are taking steps to mitigate it.
So it's an embracement of diversification with a structure meant to counterbalance the potential pitfalls.
Precisely. And there's also an element of timing here. The expansion is happening in sync with the broader fluctuations in crypto markets, which could be both a risk and an unmissable
Right?
opportunity.
Yeah, timing is everything in these markets. Switching gears a bit, what do you make of the additional news tidbits? There were mentions of esports and even esports betting innovations like the ESI ranking system.
That's an exciting side note. It shows that the blockchain and esports worlds are converging. The fact that companies like Data.bet and Entain are advancing esports betting platforms highlights the growing ecosystem. It's like different threads weaving into a larger tapestry here.
The interconnectivity is compelling. But do you think that the expansion into blockchain gaming and esports betting can support such a technically heavy venture like Bitcoin mining?
That's a good question. While the sectors may seem different, both rely on robust blockchain technology infrastructures. It's a strategic synergy, earning from one side, reinvesting in the other. However, I believe mining remains the cornerstone from which the rest of these ventures derive their stability and funding.
Yeah, I see your point, though I remain a bit skeptical about the management's ability to juggle so many strategic elements. Diversification is great, but sometimes focus is key.
Absolutely, that's a healthy critique. It does raise questions about execution and focus. If they can maintain operational excellence, the diversification could pay substantial dividends in the long run.
It's a bold bet. I guess time will tell if this expansive strategy turns into a powerhouse model or if stretched focus might lead to growing pains.
Exactly, and that's what makes watching this space so thrilling, right? Innovations, risks, and that global competitive chess game in technology and finance all at once.
Absolutely, it's an exciting intersection of blockchain, esports, and high-tech investments. I can't wait to see how it unfolds in the coming months.
Same here. It's definitely a space to watch. Thanks for the engaging discussion. It always feels invigorating to talk about these cutting-edge developments.
Yeah, thanks for the deep dive. Looking forward to our next conversation on how these investments are shaping the future of tech and finance.